Good evening, everyone. I'm just busy copying the link into the WhatsApp group. There's some students that don't have access, so just bear with me for another 5 minutes. Let me just get the link to them in over WhatsApp. Thank you, Adele. I saw that you've posted it in the group. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. Once again, please ignore my tongue tying tonight. It's been a long day, and I think I'm in need of coffee. So at some point, I think I'll have to get some coffee. But I'm going to try and make this a very informative session. Please participate. This is a session where you guys should ask a lot of questions and hopefully get a better understanding of economic order quantity afterwards, or be in a position to ask more specific questions. So please participate, ask. If I don't have the answer, I'll make sure that I get it. I don't know everything, but I am here to make sure that you understand what skill you need to have to tackle this question, how you need to think about it, and why we are doing the things the way we are doing it. So please participate. Let's quickly go over the house rules again. You are familiar with everything. Please just let us focus on point number 5. If you've joined this group for the first time, please send me please note that there's a voluntary WhatsApp group. If you want to be part of it, please send me your module code with your name and surname to that number, and I will add you to the general MAC discussion group on which we post when there will be classes, when there's available one-on-one sessions. So yeah, general information will be posted on there, so please have a look. Then I've mentioned one-on-one consultations. Whether I post it there or not, if you are in need of explanation on a specific topic and you are not comfortable in asking it in this forum, please send me a WhatsApp outside of that group and explain to me what the problem is, what you are struggling with, and we will then obviously focus on it and see if we can't arrange an hour where we can meet and discuss and unpack the item or the topic that you might be struggling with. Then just again, let's focus on point 11 and 12. Please complete the attendance register. The link is posted in the chat section. Post your student number in the chat section as well. And also at the end of the session, please complete the evaluation form it does provide us with some feedback that we can use to either enhance a session or look for something different that might be of more assistance to you. So please make use of that. And as I've said before, let's make this a participatory session. Let it be interactive. I've highlighted a few questions that we're going to be doing, and then let's see how you fare with those questions, and hopefully we'll identify, or firstly clear the problem that you might have, and then identify items that you might really be struggling with, and then we can focus on them. So if you can just give me a moment, let me share the correct screen. If you have a question in the meantime, you are free to just unmute and ask. Okay, guys, so firstly, I'm going to explain the basics of economic order quantity firstly. The reason for that is to make sure that we are all on the same page. So if your problem is with the basics, that is what we will be explaining firstly. And if you're already comfortable with the basics, make sure that the interpretation that I'm going to share on the various principles, that it matches your understanding, because sometimes we are in a position that we think we understand something, but actually we are not really fully comprehending the true meaning that we need to have on that specific topic. So as we've discussed on Saturday, tonight we're going to be discussing the economic order quantity and unpack that a little bit. So what is the importance of the economic order quantity when we when we do accounting for material, labor, and overheads? So I'll try and do a practical introduction of the important factors to consider prior to understanding the formula. So when you order inventory, there's obviously a few things that you need to consider. So when you read through this chapter, put yourself in the position of either a shop owner or someone that produces something. So I've used an example, but we can use various examples. So put yourself in the position of let's say a restaurant. So you need to know when you need to order what type of product, and then there's various factors that you need to consider. You need to consider the type of product that you're ordering. How long can you keep it? What is its shelf life? What is the demand for it? How much does it cost to order it? When can you order it? There's so many factors that you need to consider. And after you've gained an understanding of all those factors, you need to determine and calculate the best frequency to order and the right quantity to order at those various frequencies. So if you order too little, you can have a shortage, reputational damage. You all know how you feel if you go to a shop, let's stick with a restaurant, and you order something that you've been looking for over the entire lockdown, and you get there and it's on the menu and it's not scratched out like they do these days with a black marker, and you place your order for jalapeno poppers or whatever you like, and then they tell you, sorry, we're out of stock. Reputational damage. If you order too much of it and no one orders it, you sit with spoilage. and you have to pay for storage because that obviously requires an additional refrigerator or storeroom where you could have actually put something that is selling fast and that is giving you a profit. So it's important to consider what the negatives of not deciding on the correct order quantity. Then cost of inventory purchase is obviously affected firstly by the cost price, the order cost, for example, transport, the carrying cost, holding or storage, and then demand. Taking all of these things into account, we need to decide on a balance. We need to calculate a balance and be in a position to decide what is the optimal order size, because the moment that we have the optimal order size, we can determine how many times a year do we need to order. So that is, it doesn't just stop there. Then we'll always involve some estimates. Obviously, nothing is always known. So to put out or to make something a standard, we use certain fixed estimates to apply the formula on. So the costs used in the economic order quantity model are only those costs that will vary or change depending on the level of inventory. So we are talking about variable costs. So there's two methods that you can use to calculate the economic order quantity. Firstly, you can use the formula, which we will concentrate quite a lot on tonight. And then obviously there's the longer way, or the method, and that's drawing up the table. And to draw up the table, and then you keep on completing the table, and at the end of the day, you will reach a specific order quantity where you see the costs are no longer going down, they are turning. They are now going up again, and we will explain that as well. So I know there's various formulas, but there is only one specific formula, and I've looked at your study guide, and not to confuse you, I'm going to explain the formula that I used tonight. I have noticed a discrepancy in the study guide, which I will follow up with Adele to communicate to the lecturer. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's not correctly applied, but we will talk about it tonight. If we look at the formula and we assign to the cost price the letter P, order cost R, carrying cost H, and demand D, we need to always remember that when we look at carrying cost and demand, we need to look at what is it on an annual basis. And then obviously, if interest is involved, you need to understand what interest means. Interest means if I had to incur borrowing cost to order a number of items. So I required cash flow, which I didn't really have at the time. It was either locked up in debtors, people that haven't paid me yet. So to be in a position to order, I have to borrow money. And the moment I borrow money, I incur interest. And that interest factor needs to be considered when I determine my economic order quantity. Okay, so say for instance, I borrowed money at say 10%. What am I funding? I'm funding the ordering cost. But the moment I fund my ordering cost, it should be an element that is included in my carrying cost. Because it's only because I'm carrying that inventory that I've incurred the interest. The moment I'm no longer carrying it, I'm not incurring interest. Does anyone have a question on that? I just want to make sure that I've explained it correctly. If you have a question on that, pause me right there. You can pause me at any point, but if you want to discuss something, let's discuss it there before we get to an example. So no questions yet. Okay. So that's the formula that I use. Okay. What does it say? 2 is always a constant factor. Then I take the order cost. Oh, sorry. Then I take the order cost, the cost of ordering a product, because that's a variable cost. I multiply it with the demand, the number of units in total that I will order per annum. Remember I said annual. Then I say I take the carrying cost, but I plus the effect that interest will have on it. So I take the order cost, multiply it with P, the order cost multiplied with the interest rate and add it to the carrying cost. And that will give me my economic order quantity. So if you look in your study guide, firstly, the square root is missing over that formula. Other than that, it says the same thing. It says also 2. If I go back to the formula, it also says 2 times the ordering cost times the units. But then it says the holding cost, and there's no plus, and that's not in brackets, multiplied. Everybody happy so far?
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
is that formula in the 2601 study guide?
Yeah, 2601 study guide.
Yeah, okay, so I'm doing 3701, and when I did 2601, that exact formula is exactly as it was. It looks like they've never ever changed the formula or fixed the study guide after all these years, which is funny.
Okay, so you guys agree that it is a mistake?
Yeah, in the 3701 study guide, the formula is correct.
100%. Very happy to hear that. So for those that are doing 2601 and you've been struggling, I hope that has been the reason. Well, obviously I'm sad that that's the reason that you might have been struggling, but I'm glad that we found the reason why you could have been struggling. Okay, then let's quickly look at, I just want to reconnect. This connection of the tablet keeps on dropping at points. But if you have any questions, please, you are more than welcome to interrupt me at any point. It is your session. Okay, connecting. Excuse me. Okay, you guys can all see the screen.
Yes.
Okay, so to best explain the economic order quantity is let's draw a graph. Guys, we're going to do but we're going to do a few examples. I just first want to make sure that you understand the basics of the economic order quantity, and then we can open the floor for questions, and it's going to run over 2 sessions. So it's not just tonight. Tonight is for the basics, and then we will carry on with it in another session as well. So just make sure that you understand tonight's session. Okay, let's say that the y-axis represents the order quantity. And the x-axis let's say frequency or time. Obviously, you're going to purchase some items here. Let's change that. You're going to purchase some items, and then obviously it's going to drop to 0. Okay, then you're going to replenish your inventory up to a certain point, and then it's going to drop again. And you're going to buy again. And then I'm going to run out of space. Anyway, you get the picture. I need to understand, when do I have to order more inventory? This downward slope, or the steepness of this downward slope, is indicating the rate of usage. The steeper, the quicker people buy it, and the quicker I get rid of it, and the quicker I need to buy again. Okay? So I need to somehow get a mean, an average running, where I know that I need to be able to purchase so that I don't end up at the 0 level. I need to be able to purchase here. So I need to put in a certain order at that point, so that when we get to 0, it arrives. I'm never out of stock. Everybody happy with that concept? How do I get my average calculation? I take this quantity over the 0, and I say it's my begin plus end divided by 2. That is my average quantity. Everybody happy with that? That will give me my average inventory on hand. Everybody still happy?
Yes.
Okay. You guys must remember your session, huh? So that's the first thing that you need to remember. You need to always work with the quantity average. Then let's look at another graph. And this is the important one, the one with the economic order quantity. So firstly, you are going to incur holding cost. The moment that you purchase items, the more you purchase, the bigger the holding cost. So let's assume holding cost, and sorry for all the colors. But I'm a big believer in basics. If your basics aren't right, you're not going to understand it. That is the holding cost. Then obviously you're going to have order cost, but order cost is variable. There's a component of fixed and variable in it, so it'll never have really a straight line. Okay. It will never really have yeah, like I said, a straight line. So it will start and slope. Let's say that is our setup of all order cost. So now that you've seen that this relationship between order and holding, there's obviously a combined graph that can be drawn here. One that starts there and then somewhere it's affected, and then it goes up again. Taking into account this one, the holding and the order. And that right there, it will be the minimum total cost, that point. Let's go back to, that will be my minimal total cost. That is where total cost will be the least. And that will be my optimal order. Just to explain it with the graph. That is where where those two costs meet, and at that point I need to order to make sure that I never end up at 0, where I lose reputation or suffer any other cost, or order too much, order here for instance. And by the time it gets to 0, it's either spoiled or whatever the case may be. Everybody happy with what I've just explained there? Okay, can I ask you guys to, I'm going to give you, let's say, what's the time now? I'm going to give you 7 minutes to please complete this question and get to an answer. Can I ask that we do have the following arrangement if we work like this, because I want us to work out answers in class. The moment that you are done with your attempt, please raise your hand, because that will give me an indication when the majority of people have done the question. So let's read through the question, and then I'm going to give you 6 to 7 minutes. And if you are done, you just raise your hand. So the material DX is used uniformly throughout the year. What does uniformly mean? Whenever you get that in a question, it means equally throughout the year. In other words, I'm in this situation. I'm in this situation where you can say it's the beginning plus the end divided by 2 gives me my average quantity. So uniformly throughout the year, the data about annual requirement, ordering cost, and holding cost of the material is given below. Annual requirement is 25 units, 24,000 units. Ordering cost is 100 per order. Holding cost is 30 Rand per unit. Determine the economic order quantity of material DX using above information. I'm going to mute my mic, and if you're done, please raise your hand, and that will give me an indication of where you are, of where the group have progressed. Sorry for the interruption, guys, but if you've tried the question and you feel like you want to rather have an explanation, also just put up your hand, then I know I don't have to go on for the full 6 or 7 minutes. So just to put it out there.
Evening, everyone. It's Siyabonga speaking here.
Hi,
Well,
Siyabonga.
I've tried Charles to get my answer. I think my answer is 400 units. So, which means I will have to order in my company when I've reached 400 units. I think this
100%.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
I'm going to give another 2 minutes and then we'll discuss that answer.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, sir.
Thanks. Okay, guys, I think we can continue, unless there's someone that wants me to first wait because they're still trying. Okay, for those that have completed, okay, so let's do that part first. So what does the question ask? To determine the economic, let me just make this economic order quantity. And that equals 2 times the demand times what else?
Ordering cost.
Divided by?
Holding cost.
100%. Okay, so if we go back to the information, that is 2 times 24,000 times 100 divided by 30. And that answer is the square root of 160,000, which is 400. Everybody happy with 400 units? If we look at the table, if they ask you to draw up the table, let's assume that they say, okay, so the table will look like this. So number of orders, the number of units per order, the average units in inventory, and then we have the order and holding cost. Order cost, holding cost, combined cost. So the number of units per order we will start with the 24,000. Where did I? Okay. The average units will be that divided by 2. Remember we said we are using this whole scenario. Then the order cost was 100. The holding cost will be that average holding times the holding cost per unit. So it will be the 12,000 times the 36. What am I talking? The 30. If I add those two together, I get the combined cost. So I want to get to a point where the combined cost stops decreasing and starts increasing again, because that will be the point where I stop. What did I do with my formula here? Ordering cost. Oh, sorry guys. Divided by the number of orders, obviously. We said 24,000. Just make sure I've put everything in correctly. Average units in inventory will be that divided by 2. Guys, are we happy with 400? Did everybody get 400?
I got 400. Yeah.
There's my mistake, sorry. Or not. Multiplying with that, 100 is fine. And we said 30. Guys, I'll put up the table again. I've made an Excel function prof mistake there. I'm not sure what I did, but I'll post it on the group once I fix it. I don't want to waste your time now. Let's go back to the formula. So 400 units is the economic order quantity. But then the question doesn't stop there. So obviously we need to determine in the exam what the number of orders per year will be. So if 24,000 units is what we require, what will be the number of orders per year? How many orders will there be? Any answers?
it will be the 24,000 divided by 400.
%.
My calculator seems to be not working anymore.
Hey?
I'm trying to figure out my calculator. 60 orders.
100%. Then my calculation isn't wrong. If we go down to line 60 orders, 400 units. And then the moment after that, you will see it starts increasing again. So what do we learn here? Don't doubt yourself too soon. So number of orders stopped at 60. At line 60, it started increasing again. So I will stop there, and that will be my economic order quantity. Then the question also asks, what will be my ordering cost? Ordering cost will obviously be the number of orders times the ordering cost. And the ordering cost was 100 Rand. Let's go to the next example. Okay, so you guys can calculate that if you want to. You guys can quickly write that down and calculate it at home, or just make a screenshot. Sorry, that was a bit quick. Everybody happy? Can I continue? Example 2, let's quickly read through it, and then I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes to complete it. And we use the same hand functionality. Just to test who is attempting this question, can everybody that will be attempting this question just quickly raise your hands? Just keep your hand up. I will tell you guys to lower it when I have an indication. Okay, there's quite a few that's not putting up their hands. I'm not sure whether you guys cannot hear me or there's another problem. Okay, I know now who will be doing it, so I'll be looking out for your hands.
I can't find the option to put my hand up here.
Say again?
I'm saying it doesn't show the option to put my hand up.
Oh, okay. You can, so those that don't have the function, thanks for mentioning that. Those of you that don't have the function can just unmute and say, I'm done. Then I'll know. Everyone else, put your hand up. Guys, okay. Let's quickly read through this question. Thanks, Katala. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Thanks, Katala.
Yes.
Okay, so example, sorry, is there a question? No question.
No, just
100%. Thanks, Katala. Example 2. Pizza Plaza uses the economic order quantity model to determine the quantity of raw material to order. You are provided with the following details about raw material. Average usage per week, 2,500 units. Number of operating weeks per year, 52. Purchase price per unit, 12.50 Rand. Variable cost of placing an order, 60 Rand. Variable carrying cost per unit per year, including interest, 9 Rand. Calculate the following: the annual usage, units, the economic order quantity in units Pizza Plaza should order, the number of orders Pizza Plaza should order in a year, and the total purchase price for the year. Let's say 10 minutes. You guys can lower your hands, please. Thanks. If you guys have a question, I'm listening and So you guys can just ask.
I've been struggling to hear you now for the whole conversation. I've been struggling to hear you. I don't know whether it's my connection or what's going on.
I think, Kosi, like you don't have to worry too much that we are making a recording. So if you, I think it's within 48 hours, the recording are available. If you don't have access to the recording after 48 hours, please just send me a WhatsApp, but not in the group. You can send it to me directly and I'll make sure that you get the recording. Does anyone require a few more minutes? Just remember you guys are on mute. Are there anyone that requires a few more minutes? Okay, and I'm continuing. Okay. Okay, so economic order quantity, let's look at that one first. The formula says it's 2 times the demand times order cost. Divided by my handling cost. So what is the demand? Can anyone tell me what the demand is?
It's 2,500 units times 52 weeks.
Okay. Which is Candace? Did you want to say something, Candace? Everybody happy with 130,000?
Yes, it's 130,000.
100%. Order cost 16. What should be the handling cost?
9.
Who's not happy with 9? Everybody happy with 9?
Yes.
Then we get an answer of.
Then we add the 12 and 50 to the 9.
Should we add the 12 and 15?
This is where I was also unsure, Charles. So I did both calculations. One with the 9 alone and one with the including the 12 and 50. So yeah, hoping you can advise what is the correct way.
100%. So just by a raise of hands, who says we should include the purchase price? Everybody happy? What will the rest of our answer be?
The square root of 15,600,000 divided by 21,040. 15.6 million. Correct.
Okay, and then beneath the line we have 21 Rand 15. Kurt, what answer do you get then?
So I got a decimal, and obviously you can't order decimal units. So my answer was 852.
Which is 100% correct. Just want to put the Excel table up for you guys.
Just a question, Charles, before you, while you're going to your Excel.
Yes.
I just want to get confirmation. In the calculation of the economic order quantity, do you always use average inventory in terms of the units when you start your calculation? The 2 times the ordering cost times the demand. Is the demand always the average usage?
No, not always.
Okay.
It's only when they say, how can I put it? It's when they say uniformly, and that is where the trick with this question comes in. I'm glad you you are mentioning it, because I want to show you the difference in the calculation if it is like that. If they say we are using it uniformly, in other words, that is our annual demand. That means we have to use the average units. So that is, I think, the main thing that can catch you out in this question. Who used the average calculation?
I did.
Just want to show you guys something here. I hope I can find it now quickly. Give me a moment. Yeah, I hope I answered your, sorry, no, never mind. I hope I answered your question there, Kurt.
You did. So my question is, but this is more on the technical side, is to look out for the, say, in the content on how they describe the usage, or in terms of the units, if it's being used uniformly.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're happy with that answer?
Happy.
100%. Okay, guys, then, yeah, the answer then is, I want to show you the Excel, the table format. I don't think you guys won't ever get the table format really, unless the answer isn't very far to calculate. It takes very long to calculate the table. I don't see the purpose of them asking you to do that calculation, but if they do, be ready for it. So the answer is 852. Is everybody happy with that 852? Any questions on how we got to the 852?
Yes, please. I would like to know, how did you get 852? Because I got 183.
Okay, no problem. Just want to get to the right line for you. Okay. So what is the formula, the economic order quantity formula? It says it's the square root of 2 times the demand times the order cost. Okay. Divided by the handling plus the purchase cost. Why the purchase cost? Because it's a variable cost. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. So now we substitute. So it's 2 times 130,000, which we got by saying 52 weeks times 2,000. What was that value?
2,500.
So times 2,500 per week. So that's how we got to 130,000. Times the order cost, which is 60. And we divide that by adding the 9 Rand, which is the handling cost, to the purchase cost per unit, which is 12 Rand 50. And then we get, if we multiply that, we get that 15. Where did I? We get that 15.6 million.
Sorry, Charles.
Candace.
Yeah, I can't see that screen. It's still showing the example.
Thanks, Candace. So there's the 52 times the 2,500 gives me the 130. So it's a 2 times 130 times the 60 divided by the 9 plus the 12 Rand 50. So it's 15.6 million divided by. Akatanya, you still happy?
Yes, I'm still with you.
Okay, 21 Rand 50. And if I do that calculation, I get that 800. I'll just check this formula. 852. And remember, it is rounded. Everybody happy?
Yeah, I am happy now. I was probably doing something with my calculator. Sorry.
No problem.
Thank you.
Cool. Any further questions on this one? Everybody happy? Okay, cool. Hope you guys can see the screen nicely. This is the last example for the evening. So they say here, a regional supermarket chain orders 320,000 cans of frozen apple juice per year from a Ladysmith's distributor. A can of apple juice delivered to Topshopela's central warehouse costs 50 cents, including freight charges. The company borrows funds at 10% interest rate to finance inventories. So the agent calculates that it costs 15 Rand to place an order, and the variable annual holding expense is 10 cents for each can of juice. Can you guys calculate for me the economic order quantity? Let's give another 10 minutes. Okay, guys, let's have a look. Okay, so this one looks a bit different. So the formula that I'm going to use is straight out of, well, early in this presentation we showed it, but it basically says the economic order quantity equals 2 times the demand times the ordering cost over the handling cost plus the interest on the purchase price. So let's apply that formula to the information. Okay, so I don't have the information on my screen, so you guys must just help me substitute. Okay, so we said 2 times the demand. The demand was, I think, 320, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it's 320,000.
Okay, Makatani, you can keep your mic unmuted. What was the ordering cost?
15.
The ordering.
15.
15.
Yes, 15.
Then we say the handling cost
10 cents.
10 cents.
plus the purchase price
50 cents.
Is 50 cents
times 10%.
times 10%.
And if you did that, what do you guys get your answer?
I got
8,000
9.6 million
units.
over
8,000.
0.15.
Candice, can I ask you a favor? Can you see if you can maybe put your mic a little bit louder?
How did I do that though?
I'm struggling to hear you.
I'm not sure how to do that.
No problem. Okay, so the answer that I'm getting is 8,000.
Yeah.
Anyone that does not get 8,000 using that formula? Okay, Tanya, are you happy?
I'm still trying to check where I got it wrong because I got 6,500. Yeah,
I
Tala?
also substituted wrong. I also substituted wrong. The
wrong.
cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I saw
Yes.
as well.
Okay. You guys can quickly check and see if you can get it. Let's just check and see what the other question was. So calculate the related total annual ordering costs and carrying costs. So at 8,000, how many times would I have ordered?
40.
How much is that?
40.
So it's 40 times. And also so do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
say calculate the related total annual ordering cost and carrying cost. It's not true for carrying cost, but it's true for ordering costs. I would have ordered 40 times, so it's my order cost would have been, order cost
600.
is 15 Rand times 40, and that is 600 Rand.
It's 10 cents times 320,000. I'm right.
320,000
Times the 10 cents because it's per can.
Am I correct in saying that?
You can't see the screen.
We only see the example, not the Excel screen that you're writing on.
I keep on doing that. Apologies for that.
Okay, thank you.
Are you guys happy with this?
So
Doing the
there's
50 cents. Say again.
Oh, is it 50 cents times 10%?
So are you happy?
I'm not sure about the. I worked out the carrying cost at just the 320,000 units times the 10 cents. I didn't know that you were supposed to add the 50 cents times 10%.
Remember, the interest is part of carrying that cost.
Okay.
What do you say, Kurt?
No, I also did it how Candace did it. I only used the 10 cents instead of doing the interest with the purchase price included.
So this is then the pure carrying cost, and this is the, if I should have average interest. You guys happy with that?
Yeah, I understand now.
Yes.
Because this relates to, yeah. Just want to check something for you guys. Okay, yeah, that seems accurate. Yeah, so that will be the annual carrying cost. should be those two amounts added together. So it's 48,000. Everybody happy? Okay, cool. Any questions, guys? That concludes this evening's discussion surrounding economic order quantity. So if there's any other questions, please ask. Yes, Kurt.
I'm still having some trouble to understand the interest part of the carrying costs, but let me go do some examples on my own, and then if need be, Charles, I will arrange a one-on-one with you.
100% Kurt, but let me elaborate a little bit while we still have the meeting. But yeah, please, the one-on-one is 100%. Remember, when is the only time that I have that interest?
When you place an order?
Exactly.
Yes.
So, but actually we should say the only time that I carry inventory is from, and I'm going to actually now pull this answer a bit apart. So it's good that you ask it in this session, because the question could have been asked a bit differently. It could have been asked just on that order, that specific order. So if you think about it, if I start here and I purchase up to a point from 0 to 8,000, what is the average? For that specific purchase? Would be the 8,000 divided by? You happy? Assuming we consumed that 8,000 evenly over this period. So it's actually 4,000 that should be multiplied with two types of cost. One being true carrying cost, meaning the cost of the fridges, the cost of the storage, the cost of having that on my premises. That is true carrying cost. But also, if it wasn't for the amount that I borrowed, I wouldn't have had that in the first place. So now I'm having interest because I purchased goods. So I should actually be applying that amount on 4,000, which is 10 cents true carrying cost per unit and another 5 cents interest. And if I apply that, I get 400 Rand and 200 Rand. Yes, good. You muted.
Okay, so what you are essentially saying, Charles, there's a interest applicable to each unit used.
Yes. Because
Okay.
I borrowed, you can actually say that I borrowed money per unit. Because you wouldn't have borrowed more than what you would have purchased. You would have borrowed exactly what you purchased, meaning you borrowed enough money for each bottle of juice in this example.
Okay.
So
I think I understand.
cool. So two very important principles here is the average. Because in this top example, we just basically said annual. We didn't look at the average. That's annual, straight. But the question could have said average. So now you have to look at what the true carrying amount was, assuming that we consumed it evenly over each frequency. I'm going to go straight back to my diagram that I drew here. In other words, we are talking about this period. We need to have an average over that before we order again. And here was 0 up until a point where we had 8,000 again. And that went down evenly to 0 again. All the time incurring costs. Carrying amount. But the moment I used my last product or sold my last bottle of juice, I would have had the money to repay the loan or the money that I borrowed. So I don't have to incur interest anymore. I don't have to incur the cost of the fridges anymore. So you get what you guys get what I'm saying there. So here we have the average 4,000 plus those two gives me a total of 600 per order. How many orders did I have in the year?
40.
What is 600 times 40?
That is your 8,000, right?
Hey?
Isn't it your 8,000 or 320,000? Sorry.
24,000.
Sorry. I was just guessing out loud, Charles.
No problem. So on average, the 24,000. And now if we go look at my answer that I got here, if we worked on the average, everybody happy? I can still explain. I want you guys to understand this. Candice, are you happy?
Yes, I'm happy.
Makatani?
Yes, I am 100%.
Okay. Kutala?
Yeah, I'll have to do examples, Charles, again.
Say again?
I'm saying I'll have to do examples again and see if I follow it correctly.
100%. Good?
I'm happy, Charles. But I'm going to work through this example again.
Okay, 100%. I will post this example on the group tonight still. What I will do here as well is I will save my notes and send it on the group. Let's export it. So everybody that's on the group, you should get my notes right now. Any more questions? Guys, I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer. And if you have any questions, please ask. If you need to see the cell phone number again to be added to the group, please mention it and I'll put that screen on again.
Yes, please. I need the number for the WhatsApp group, please.
100%. I will also save this to PDF and put it on the group. I can slide up right now. So guys, I'm still here. If you got any questions, please ask. Please complete the evaluation form. And also please put your student. Yes, Makatane?
Yes, Charles, I wanted to find out the one-on-one sessions. How do we do it? Do we do it via WhatsApp or do we come back here on Teams?
Yeah,
Because we were supposed to have one and I forgot to ask where are we going to do it or how we're going to do it.
Okay, so we will arrange a one-on-one over WhatsApp outside the group. So send me a WhatsApp outside the WhatsApp group. So in a private conversation on that number, and we will arrange a time and I will communicate it with Adele and we will schedule a session and me and you will agree on a time and date that's suitable.
Yeah, but I wanted to find out where, like, how are we going to do it? On WhatsApp or here?
On Teams. It will be a Teams invite.
Oh, okay. All right then.
100%.
Thank you.
Charles, may I also ask that the students complete the attendance register that was posted? I noticed that not many of them have completed that.
Some had trouble signing in, Adele, so I asked that they just post their student number.
Okay.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
please, guys, for those that didn't try, please attempt to sign in there.
Yes, it must be the network tonight because many students struggled tonight.
Not sure what it is, Adele. It's probably a Wednesday thing.
So Charles, can I just
Yes.
confirm for the next MAC costing session, are we going to continue doing the economic order quantity?
Kurt, yes, I would love to do another session on economic order quantity. Or let me ask for everyone that's here. Can you guys please put up your hand if you would like to another session like this where there's examples and we all work through the examples and explain. Would you like one more session on that? If you want one, please put up your hand.
The reason I'm asking, Charles, those examples that you did now is more on a 2601 level.
100%.
When it gets to 3701, they incorporate something like the reorder point.
Correct.
That is where you have to, like the spacing out of the orders that you will place using the economic order quantity.
Correct.
So that is something I definitely need more assistance on, because even the basic economic order quantity is already a bit of a challenge. So if you can perhaps do an example that incorporates that reorder point calculation as well in the next session, or we can maybe arrange a one-on-one if the other students feel that it's not something that they are interested in.
I think we will have another session, Kurt. I see there's already 4 or 5 hands up for another session. So there will be another session on that. I will still communicate the time with you guys. I just want to discuss it with Adele first in terms of when we can schedule, because some of the classes might fall on a Sunday just because of limited time. But I first want to clear that with Adele before we send out group communication on that. So please keep on watching for or checking your emails and also the WhatsApp group. But whatever is communicated over email will never be in disagreement with what is communicated on the WhatsApp. Me and Adele, we confirm with each other first before we post on the relevant platforms.
And then Charles, also on the economic order quantity, where they incorporate discounts in terms of your purchase price, or discounts that you get with your order size, with the people that provide you with your product,
yes,
or with your material. A specific order size gets a discount, and then that you also have to incorporate into your economic order quantity calculation. So if you can perhaps use an example, or do an example of that as well.
I'm making a note of that, Kurt. So the next session will then have reorder points and the discount factor.
Yes, I think those are the 2 main factors that they test on a 3rd year level, because the economic order quantity is further used in relevant costing, where you have to use the EOQ to actually make that decision between producing it yourself or deciding on something else, or buying
Correct.
it.
Definitely.
Cool, man.
Thanks, Kurt. I've made a note about that. So the next session, whenever that will be, but it will be within the next week. So it can even still be later this week. Just check out the communication. So it will be on reorder quantity, reorder points, and then discount factor.
Yes. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Kurt. Guys, there's a few more people that wants to be added to the group. I'm first going to add them, and then I'll share the notes or the PDF document of the slides of tonight. I'll share on that group as well. Guys, then I think it's that time. If there's no other questions, I hope you guys have a good evening further, and thanks for being a good participatory group. We'll see you guys in the next session.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Kurt. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, Charles. Good night.
Thanks, Candace.
Thanks everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the evening.